Explaining to do.
Hello, brother sewing and crafting family. How are you? Oh, do we have a fun show today? So welcome to the party. If you've never been here before, say hi, say where you're from. I'm Angela Wolf. I'm a brand ambassador for Brother. And today we have an entire fun show from some fabulous brother educators giving you tips for organizing. That's what we all need, right? A little bit of organizing. Well, I've watched some of these back rooms through the last few months while we do live shows. So right before the live show, I get kind of a preview of their area. You thought it was fun to do an I Spy at my place. Oh, you haven't seen anything. So I have a lot of fun ideas for you. So grab your pen and paper, grab a cup of tea, and let's get rolling. So wait till you see this group. Hi, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Lewis will be back in a minute. I told everyone to go grab some tea. So here we are. I've got my tea. So everyone, welcome to the party. Happy New Year. And this is going to be so much fun. All right. So here we have everyone. Let's see. We're not on top of each other this time. We're sideways. So you begin. I'm Angela Wolf, brand ambassador, and the rest are brother educators. So go ahead, Barb, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Barb Mikolajczyk from the Chicago area. Happy to be here and share some things with you and eager to learn from the rest of the educators.
Awesome. Then we have Kim.
Hi, I'm Kim Montagnese in Amherst, Ohio, on the sunny shores of Lake Erie. And Happy New Year, everybody. It's just really nice to be here. And I hope you learned some new fun stuff.
Oh, it's going to be fabulous. We got Jerry.
Hi, I'm Jerry Granata from wonderful, warm Palm Springs, California. No,
I don't
shut
want to
up.
hear that part. That you can keep. We need to come and visit you. And then we have Jennifer.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Jennifer Gleich. I am coming to you from just outside of Portland, Oregon, where it's a little dreary today, but I'm excited to be here with my fellow educators and share some fun organizing tips for your sewing area.
Fabulous. And I think we've got Lewis. Where'd you go, Lewis? You coming into the party? Hi, Lewis.
Hello.
How are you?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning. You got us? I think he can hear us.
Yes, I can hear you. I'm sorry.
Excellent. Well, we have a really fun show for you today. So Kim, why don't you start off and show us some organizing tips? Everyone get ready for a lot of fun here. Go ahead.
Okay, so the room that I sew in was actually two rooms. I had a little corner in one side. The other side that I'm in right now was actually the kids area. So we had a TV with the video games and the big, the chairs and all that stuff in here. Well, my kids are gone now, and I've taken over the other side of the room. So I have a lot of space, but I didn't have really room to lay things out on. And we couldn't get rid of the pool table. So I don't know. Let's see. Hopefully you can see this. So there's the pool table here.
Oh.
I covered it with a sheet. I can store things underneath it. And then I bought this big piece of insulation foam. You see
that's a great idea.
And then underneath here, let me see, I might have to move this so you can see. I did have to put some scraps of insulation underneath it, to hold up the center part where so I could push down on it. And I love this because I can pin on it. If I have something slippery on here, I can do that. I can lay out a bunch of stuff all at the same time. And then when we want to play pool, I can just take this off, fold up the sheet, put it away, and use the pool table. So we still have use of this room. And I'm going to share with you another tip. It's in the other room, but this kind of comes into play. This insulation foam, I get it just the home store in a great big sheet, and you can cut it with an electric knife, which is nice. So it's real easy to cut, very easy to carry. I carried it in my sedan car. So, I love this. And what I'm going to show you in the other room has come in really super handy if you have a space that you can't 100% customize permanently. It's my design wall and my assignment wall. So, Angela, do you want me to do that right now, or do you want to come back to me?
We'll come back to that, but I have to tell you that pool table idea. So with all of this, not going anywhere, and you just have like a small group of friends that maybe you see, occasionally. So I said to my husband, we need to have like Thursday game night. I'm just like dying to like just be around my friends a little bit. And so he says, yeah, we don't have a big table. We have a huge pool table in our dining room because now, hint, hint. I think that's exactly what I'm doing because I just bought some insulation for another project. Forget that. I'm going to turn game night into a real game night. So I bought a bunch of games and now I'll have a nice table for it. That is one of the best clever ideas I've seen in a long time, Kim. That is awesome.
Thank you. And it's really cheap too.
Well, we like that too.
Yeah, right.
All right. So, hey, Jerry, you want to go?
Hey, sure.
All right.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. I think what I want to do is just kind of talk through my stuff first, and then I'm going to take you around to my sewing space and show you what I do. So
Awesome.
It's hard to talk about organization without talking about your space first. And so my first tip is assess your space. If you can, empty it. That's a great way to look at, if you can, empty your space. And that way you get a really clean look. Because a lot of the times, what do? We go out, we buy all this storage stuff, and we don't know where we're going to put it. And we just spend a lot of money on things we probably are never going to use. So you have to know where to put your stuff first. So really empty your room, assess it, and then place your large furniture first. Put your sewing table, your regular table, your cutting mat, your bookcases, anything you want to have. Get your big stuff in there, and then you can fill in. Now, I'm coming at this from a very small space. So when I lived in Florida, I had a 30 foot by 25 foot sewing studio. Now I'm in a 12 by 11 foot, just a small bedroom. And I like it because what it did is it forced me to whittle down to those things that I only use. It seems like when you have a big space, you spend a lot of money trying to fill it, and that's fine. But for a lot of us, we don't have that kind of room. So make sure that you're assessing your space first. Also, graph with your friends. You don't have an artist. Maybe draw out the things get your doors, get your windows, all that stuff, and just kind of fill in from there. Don't forget your sewing triangle: machine, cutting, press. Make sure you have access to all of those areas. Just like your kitchen, there's a sewing triangle as well. Don't be afraid to paint your furniture. If you're not happy with your furniture, there's a lot of paints on the market that are made for like press board and things like that you don't have to prime. You can just paint them. So if you're not happy with your furniture, you can paint it. And because of that, be careful of the internet. We go on the internet and we see all these beautiful spaces with crystal chandeliers and everything matches and it's all insanely organized and it looks beautiful. Most of us don't have that. And that can be really intimidating. So it's good to go on and get ideas, but if you feel your heart starting to sink about your space, probably stop looking at that stuff and just reassess what you have. And then repurpose your things, get out of the box, start looking in hardware stores, kitchen stores for any kind of organizational things and repurpose like photo boxes and little car storage boxes. And with that, I'm going to take you around my sewing room so you can see. I'm going to raise this up here so that we can all walk around. And I'll start you over here. So this is where my 10 needle lives, right in here. That's a store. You can tuck that in there. A lot of people think, well, I don't have the space for a 10 needle. Yes, you do. You just got to get creative. This is a closet. And as you can see, I've got shelving units in there with boxes that are all labeled. People ask me what my favorite sewing notion is. It's my label maker. This is a storage unit for my thread that I'm really proud of. So this, the back of your door, it's got that little gap of space and you don't know what to do with it. So what I did, and I can't claim this as my own, this is something I saw on the internet. They're just 1x3s, and I made a frame and then filled in with the shelves based on the size of my threads. And I tucked that in behind my door. So now I've got a thread storage unit. And then I also, because Palm Springs is very dusty, I staple gunned some vinyl to the front of it. So now my thread never gets dusty. And it's just a flap of vinyl that I can access my thread. And now I'm using that storage area behind the door, that empty space for my thread storage. So we come around here and you'll see how small my room is. But You just have to pack a lot of stuff into it. There's my design wall. And then we'll come around. We've got some bookshelves. Now, again, remember I said photo boxes. So you'll notice that tucked into these shelves is these are just photo boxes. And this upper unit here is just, a shoe organization caddy that I added L brackets to and placed them above my cutting table, which is right there. And I have pegboard behind that where I store all of my rulers and cutting tools, and I have lighting underneath so that I can see it. And then we'll keep swinging around here. We'll see all that stuff. And again, I have another bookcase, just inexpensive bookcase. And then over here, what you'll see, let me swing around here. Sorry, try not to make this a Dramamine moment.
It's so neat and organized, Jerry. So neat and organized.
I'm one of these people that I get when people like throw things around their sewing room and that helps them get creative. For me, this is just me, but for me, clutter kills my creativity. I can't have clutter. I can't stand it. So for me, being organized, it really helps me be creative, and I know where everything is. So I talked earlier about car storage boxes. These are for your little toy. These are just for little toy. They're marketed for like Matchbox cars. So these are perfect thread storage units that I can just take, and this stores like my serger thread, some metallic threads in here. These are just little car storage boxes that you can get at, just any big box store. They're really inexpensive. And so that pretty much is my sewing area. So underneath here's my, I got this table at a hardware store, and it has lots of drawers and storage. There's my free motion quilting rulers. Underneath there's a little shelf that I have more storage on. And then I can also go underneath if I need to. If you notice, this is up on bed risers, just inexpensive bed risers. And that lifts this cutting table up enough that I can cut very nicely. I also have built my own little framework that also has like an ironing surface on it. So I can pop that right on top, fits right on top, and I can iron all sorts of yardage or individual pieces. I also made a half one so that I can use one half as my cutting area, the other half is my ironing area. So if you have a small space like I do, you just have to get creative. And don't forget to look up. Go up. In a small space, go up to the ceiling if you have to. Now this is over my window. I could put a shelf in there, and I've got all sorts of storage up there. So if you have a small space like I do, go up. Try not to think about it outwardly. Think from bottom to top. So there you have it.
Oh my gosh, what a great room. You could have a whole show by yourself with all those organizing things. The bed risers, though. Did any of you ever think of the bed risers? Never thought of that.
If you're having an issue, you could also use PVC pipe as well on the legs of your tables to lift that up so that it doesn't hurt your back when you're cutting.
Oh my gosh, that is a great idea. I love that. I'm watching all the comments. They're saying, wow, this is excellent. Everybody has the same size room as you do too, so they're really excited.
Yeah, most people don't have a big space. So, you have to organize it and you have to prepare it based on what you have. Absolutely.
I like that wall that you have put up too with all of your rulers.
Oh, yeah, the pegboard. Yeah, it's just simple pegboard that I cut to, again, went to a big box store, and it comes in sheets. You can have 4x8, or they have smaller ones as well. And you can cut it to shape. I painted mine, and then you can, so it's coordinated.
That's awesome. Very awesome. Well, everybody's giving you they're like, yay. A lot of ideas. Oh my gosh, this is so much fun. So, hey, Barb, you look like you are ready to roll. We can't wait to see what you've got going on.
Okay, so my sewing space is my basement. So I'm walking down my stairs now just to show you the idea here.
Now remember, we're live. Don't trip.
So this wall used to be just a wall. And I discovered there was nothing behind it. So I poked a hole in the wall and put a door in it and created this space for storage because I desperately needed lots more storage. So in this hole in the wall, that's a box with kits in it ready for an event that was postponed. These are all my wools, and it goes all the way back in there because I work with a lot of wool. Then I come on down and I have my minkies and I have my fleece and I have my serger specialty threads that I don't use that often because I don't do that much. Don't have time to do that much with my serger, but I will someday. And then next to that hole in the wall that we created a new closet was a closet, but this is a utility closet. So literally there's the pipe for, you know, my water. Yeah, I know you guys are going to laugh, but look at how much storage I got in this utility closet area by just cheap shelving. And this is where I store my matting and my fabrics that are over a yard. And they're all sorted by color and so forth. And then over here, I have some specialty fabrics because I have home deck and crushed velvet and all kinds of crazy things that are a little more special. Then there's a whole shelf of scan and cut stuff. And down there, you'll see my scan and cut rolls because right next to this area is my scan and cut.
Oh,
and
nice.
This particular thing that I have my scan and cut on, I'm going to talk about in a little bit, but it's got power in it, which means my scan and cut is plugged into the side of this thing. And there's enough room here to open my door and for my mat to scan without being a problem. So what it's on is a toolbox. This is an idea I got a couple of years ago, and I got one toolbox and I fell in love with it, and then I expanded it, but I'll show you why. So this top drawer is all scan and cut stuff. So I've got my pipes, and I've got my cork, and I've got my backing, and I've got my HTV. These drawers are huge, and they pull all the way out so that I can get to everything. So what I did, I want to jump on Jerry here. I did home deck for a couple of years, about 5 years, and it's all about your space. Like Jerry said, you've got to create whatever your space will accept. So I'm in a basement, and it's not a very big basement. And I walk into a 6.5 foot hallway. It's a hallway that was useless. So I originally had these shelves and just a laminate top on the other side here that I use for my cutting surface. But this is too tall for me. I'm short. So that made it difficult. When I got one of these units, it became the right height because I did not put the wheels on it. So they can have wheels and be movable, but I just made them stable. But here's what Jerry said. Use your vertical space. So on my walls, and you can all do this, I created a place for all my rulers that I use on a regular basis. But I created it by making it a piece of artwork. So I added things that had meaning to me. And of course, there's my scan and cut mats right over my scan and cut. So you think about what it is you need to use and maybe what makes you smile. So a couple of these things were made by my grandchildren and things like that. And then it stands, my 10 needle is right there. So my idea was to put my 10 needle in that closet when I wasn't using it. Well, that lasted about a week because I use it all the time. So it doesn't ever go in the closet. So on the wall across from that are more rulers and threads on my wall. Now you don't need these racks. You can put any, rack. But the point is I'm using the wall space, and it's stuff that I touch every day, all the time. So back to these toolboxes, which are amazing. I got one for Christmas the first year, and these drawers are different depths. And you can store just about anything you can imagine in these drawers, and so much. So here's one with just all my feet. I got to switch my camera a little bit here. Whoop.
Oh, don't break your iPad.
All right, trying to do this so I can get this to go down into the drawer. Okay, so you can see the feet that I don't use every day, my ruffler and all the extra feet. Wow. And I can put so much in here. I can put extra hoops in my drawers that I don't touch all the time, or I might have duplicates of. I have 3 drawers that are projects to be done. You know what I mean? We all have them, and they're huge. So this is my main drawer under my cutting table. Look how much is in here. So my scissors, my cutting tools, my pins, my tapes, my bobbins, my markers, my pins for quilting, my weights, my clips. I mean, everything is at my fingertip. They're not very deep. It's like 3.5 inches, but you can fit so much into one of these drawers. So like I said, I started out with one, and then I added 2 more over the years because everything I need is at my fingertips here. So the one next to my 10 needle is all my 10 needle hoops, my bobbins, my tools, my magnetic hoop, all of that stuff that I need at my fingertips right next to my machine. And as you can see, as I added these, I added 3 cutting mats. So I have a huge cutting surface, and I need that. I use it all the time, and trust me, it's never this clean. I spent a whole day cleaning and folding. So back on my wall up here, behind my 10 needle, you'll see that I have hung pieces that I want to grab quickly. The new extension table, some of the drivers that's not on the machine right now, but I have a couple of drivers hanging on the wall, and my 14 by 14. So I hang things, and it doesn't cost anything but a nail to get at your fingertips. I'm going to go back into some of these drawers because you saw where I saved all of my fabric over a yard, but now look at these drawers. This one down here is all my blacks, whites, off-whites, grays, and these drawers are so big and so thick. If I can dig down here, look at how many layers of white fabrics I have in here, all different ones. So that would take several bins to store just what's in that one drawer, and I can pull the whole thing out all the time. I can store different colored fabrics. So there I have my tans and browns. Next to that, I have my golds and yellows and oranges. And again, I cannot tell you how huge these drawers are. This was a 7.5 or a 6.5 foot hallway. So see the space between, I pulled my drawer all the way out, and this next table to work on over there. So each drawer has different colored fabrics in it. At my fingertips, I've got one of pinks and purples and one of greens and blues and so on. And across from this one, I showed you a little bit on the wall, I have space under here to store bolts of fabric. These shelves are usually full of projects I'm in the middle of working on in one form or another. And like I said, I cleaned everything up for this. I don't know which drawers I didn't show you, but let me walk a little bit more here. As I come to my sewing area, you'll see on the end of there are my magnetic hoops, again at my fingertips. Here's another piece of that top. You just always need surface to put stuff on, like the pool table. Underneath here are scads of samples that I grab to pack to go to events, and a larger area to store things that are tall. My tables, this L shape here with my machines, are made out of old bowling alley, and it's amazing. And it's just some 2x4s for legs to hold them up, and they're short, so they work for me. It's not a regular table height. Again, on the wall, I have threads at my fingertips. I have drawers down here with pins and sewing threads and feet and stuff like that I use every day. More drawers over here for some hoops and some office supplies. And then this is my desk. This was a closet, and I just turned it into my desk area. And next to that is a little short wall with really no purpose. So I hang the hoops I use most often on that. Again, right behind the sewing machines that I'm using. And of course, a little caddy here by this machine, because it's not by any drawers, with all the stuff I need to grab. And then I have one more closet here. Sorry, guys. And again, I just turned it into storage, like whatever I need. And I don't have my buttons organized like you do, Angela, but these bins were my mom's or my grandma's, and they're very sentimental to me. So again, my P-Touch labeler from Brother has, what's in there, elastic or zippers or buttons or Velcro or whatever. Of course, design files and ironing stuff and drawers for bigger things, blanks to sew on. I mean, and my bigger bolts of fabric in the corner. You just, like Jerry said, use your space. Whatever your space dictates is what you do. So like Jerry said, kind of empty your space, or think about, what the heck do you do with a 6.5 foot hallway? And I didn't want to put my machines over there because it seemed a little claustrophobic. So I created my workspace over there, and it just really works well. So I hope there's some ideas there that somebody can use. Some of it costs money. And like I said, it was 3 years before I got the 3 units, but now it's like a dream. But some of it didn't cost anything, and yet it works really well to be organized. That's it.
That is absolutely amazing. I hear an echo for one spot. It might be your tablet. I don't know. That I'm watching the comments coming through. First of all, the bowling alley, that is priceless. How'd you even think of that?
Well, like I said, I did home deck for several years. I had my own business in home deck, and my son is a contractor. So I have some ins, and he told me once that somebody was, getting rid of their bowling alley, and did I want any of it? And I said, absolutely. Let's make my sewing tables out of that. So that's where it came from. Just keep your eyes and ears open.
Definitely. Everybody's saying, love it, love it. The label maker. We all love our label maker. Maybe Angela will give one away. Well, not today. Sorry. But we'll put the bug in brother's ear. Oh gosh, that was so inspiring. The other thing that I found really interesting, and you guys can chime in too, because I mean, all of you have such unique things. I love the way you hang the hoops on the wall with your rulers and then add a few things. Because when you first went over there, I was like, what kind of hoop is that?
Yeah, it's just to be, you want your space to feel good. You want to be in it. You want it to evolve with great memories. And so I have pictures of grandkids all over and stuff like that.
Definitely. Oh, hey, Kim, you're back. I didn't see you down there. Sorry about that. All right. So, Louis, you want to go next?
Sure, I have to unmute. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Of course, I guess I should start out with, Angela, everybody always says, okay, he's the bling clink. So what is he wearing today? So I have to show you my shirt with a little embroidery, and the camera is upside down, so I don't know which way to go.
That way, you're perfect. Oh, that looks good.
Oh, this is the side. It has crystals on top of it. So the rhinestone kit for my scan and cut. And this is silver metallic thread. And I got to take my earbuds out. I'll show you back.
Oh, the back looks good too. That's a lot of bling going on, Louis.
Hopefully, I was still long enough that you guys got to see. And this is a design that I did create in my P design software. And I use silver metallic thread and, of course, scan and cut to create the crystal template pattern that went on top of it using the rhinestone kit. So, I love dressing up just plain dress shirts, inexpensive dress shirts, and making them a little more fancy, a little more fun. New Year's Eve's just passed. There's Valentine's Day's coming up. So ladies, you could dress your guy up, make him, a wild guy for Valentine's Day. Something fun. It doesn't have to be a shirt. You can, there are some of my friends who are bling queens. They bling everything. If it sits still long enough, they're going to have crystals on it. So, I don't recommend the underwear, so don't probably put it there. However, I have seen some fun ones. So, Valentine's Day is a little romantic, a little sexy. You might want to bling up in the bedroom. But I just had to show you my shirt, guys, so you could see that. And as I said, now when I use the metallic threads, I do not slow my machine down. It goes 1,000 stitches a minute, 1050. I do place the threads upright. I use them with the thread stand. I use a top stitch needle, and I do use brother pre-wound bobbins. My thread doesn't break. It just goes. And everyone's always, well, what do you do special? I'm like, I don't do anything. I just thread my machine and hit start, and I let it go. Okay, yeah, there may be 1 or 2 thread bakes, but when you think about how much is on the back of my shirt, 1 or 2, I can live with that. Well, my tips are, I'm not showing you my entire sewing studio like the guys did, because I only set up for half of this, simply because it's a mess right now, and I'm in the process of actually switching to a huge space like Barb and Jerry, Barb's space is. And so my room is even smaller than Jerry's that I'm currently in right now. And so my tip is going to be some of the storage organizational tools you can get at any of your home decorating, home good kind of stores that sell containers and things like that. And I don't have the wall space to put thread racks and put things on mine due to all of my shelves and my cabinetry. And of course, my computer is getting ready to go low and I got to plug in. So sorry, guys, let me plug in real quick. And I don't know why it wasn't.
So while hey Louis, take your second and go ahead and plug in. I'm going to bring Kim up here because her room. I'm like, you look like you're in jail right now, Kim. I got to get you out of here. What is this room?
She looks ready for a mugshot.
She's on mute.
Where were you on the night of July 31st, 19? No.
I don't know. I was here. I was home, Jerry. Where were you? So
Jerry,
anyway,
you're terrible.
So I have a lot of wall space, but I have low ceilings because I'm in the basement. I'm really lucky that I have a lot of space. And let me just tell you, if you have a 10 by 10 room, you can fill that up and be very organized. If you have 2 giant rooms, you can still fill that up and be 100% unorganized. So you fill the space that you have, it's all relative. But I needed to have like a design wall where I could pin the quilts up. When I was teaching, several classes, like 4 or 5 classes, before, like all in a row, and I needed to lay everything out. I had no place to lay it out. So remember that foam from the other room, the foam insulation. I got big pieces of that. I put flannel. I pinned flannel to it. And now when I want to use this, it's now my assignment wall. You can see up there my only assignment in January, today and next week. So I use my scan and cut, and I went month by month. And when I get an assignment, I just pin it to this wall. And you can use these great big quilt pins, and everything just sticks to it. So over here on the side, I have a lot of inspiration stuff. I'm not going to show you my whole space either because most of it looks like that. But it's been a really great design area. And when I was designing quilts, I could pin them up there. I could lay it flat on the floor if I needed to. The other thing I needed to do, this is my calendar, my 2020 calendar, which was the biggest waste of money last year. So I'll probably not need one this year either. But anyway, because of our zoning in our town, we can't cover our boxes. So I have to be able to move this out of the way. So they cut that when we got our new electric put in. So they said, well, we're not allowed to put the doors back on it. So now I have this big piece of foam, and you see the pins here. I just pin it. So I take the foam, cut it to size, lay the big piece of flannel on top of my pool table, lay the foam on top of that, and then just pull it around the edges and pin it. And then I do live in Ohio. Occasionally we have a little moisture in the basement. We've been here about 35 years and we've had moisture twice. So I can take this off, wash it, and put it back on. So, and the foam isn't damaged at all.
That is such a great idea. You're talking about this foam, by the way, and I am definitely going to be doing that. But that foam, it's not very expensive. It comes in huge sheets. And actually, I used it for a fashion show one time where I had like a backdrop I kind of did like a background. So for those of you that are doing your Zoom meetings, those things you tape a few together, put a couple pieces of fabric down, it covers it up.
Exactly.
But I love that with the schedule because I have all these bulletin boards, and that would be so much easier to have one big sheet that you can just pin in.
Well, then
And
you
it's
can
not very
pin-
expensive.
You can pin everything. Now this one, I had a little window, so I cut that out. But you can see back here, there's another box back there.
You've got like secret hiding spots.
I know. It's so great. So the other thing I used to do when I was doing multiple quilts, I would have multiple layers of this too, where I would just have them stacked up with a different quilt on each layer. Then I could move it out of the way, work on the one that I was using, and then stack them back up here because I didn't have the floor space. See here, I have like an island in the middle, like everything is covered. I have a lot of space, but it's completely used up and covered. So that gave me a lot more, variety of places to use.
Marianne says, show us the rest of the space. Everyone will feel better.
You'll feel real good about yourself. I'll do a little bit. This is my office space. I'm redoing this because I got a new machine. I also had to get a new printer. So I moved the machine to the other room. So that wall is not done because I moved the thread rack over. This is my messy office space. That's the new printer. That's my trash can. Here's the corner. This is a dehumidifier because we are in the basement. This is the island is actually kitchen cabinets.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And then I had to have this top part manufactured separately. The man was arguing. He goes, he said, you don't want just a white countertop. I said, trust me, I do. He goes, well, there's eggshell. There's gray. I said, I know. I just want white. I had the end extend out a little bit. Can you see the end is extending out a little bit? So I can slide my chair up there to do a lot of the pressing. And I made this out of MDF wrapped with batting, and then that silver ironing surface.
So that's your pressing? That's your pressing station?
That's my pressing station.
That's a great idea.
Then down below, I have all my wool mat, some smaller cutting boards and things like that. Okay, everybody ready to feel really good about themselves? Okay. Over here are little pieces of fabric that are in bins, like scraps. And below that is the batik scraps. Here's some books and patterns. And then this is the stash that I'm in the process of redoing. I didn't think anybody was ever going to see this, so.
They're so color organized, though.
Well, sort of. And then at the end is where I put my expensive buttons, again, on another foam board, just pinned there. And the buttons that it says $15 when you look at the card, and you think the card is $15. It's $15 a button.
Oh, yeah.
So those good ones I put there. This is button storage right here. And again, these are wipey boxes. And I didn't have my labeler at the time, but I thought now I'm just going to do scan and cut labels for the whole thing. And then this is mixed media, the mixed media cabinet. This is the sink, the dyeing, printing, stamping area.
Hey, by the way, back to your pressing table. Janie just wants to know, was the foam attached to the board or did you just lay it on top?
On the pressing area?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The pressing area is a big piece of MDF, that fiber board. And then I just cut it to size and wrapped it in batting and then put the silver stuff on top of it and then used a staple gun.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
So yeah, the cutting is not foam. The cutting or the pressing area is not foam. So here's the new area that just got started. There's my 10 needle.
Wow.
There's the rack that just moved from the other space. And there's the regular sewing machine with the lights. And then my yarn and wool and garment fabric, garment making stuff.
Oh, I love how you have, I have a ton of yarn and I don't have it organized at all. I was putting them in like shelves where they were just kind of like all out, but then they gets dusty and then, you know, I don't know. I love how you have them in bins like that just to stay organized. I like that.
Well, when I sold the furniture down here, I got $300. So I took that to the home store and bought these plastic shelves and these plastic bins for $300. So we broke even.
Wow. Nice.
And then here's projects underway. Some blank samples that I bought at the secondhand store to do, you know, embroidery and upcycling. And of course, there's all of the, you know what that is. And then my specialty threads are down there in spray paint. And then over here is the special baby.
That is some major creative space.
And I use the grid wall, the purchase grid wall for that. And then take it all the way around. Here's some more mixed media stuff in here. That includes candy making, paper mache, book stuff.
Wow.
So that's about it. There's my scan and cut area, and that cabinet below it and above it used to be for when the kids were down here. The little door, the little louver doors there, there's a refrigerator in there where they keep their pop and stuff. Now we keep our white wine in there. And then there's the scan and cut, and that was a cabinet that we had from my husband's old office. So they were custom cabinets. We're not going to throw them out, so I'm using them. They have a lot of little drawers. Same thing in here. These cabinets were also from his office. And there's lots of little drawers.
All of the drawers from between, well, you and Barb, I'll never look at another basement the same. In fact, I need to go look at mine right now and think, okay, I got to really think. I like the ideas of going up, and I like the ideas of all of these storage with the shelves. Oh my gosh. And between the cabinets and that you had in the middle with a countertop, and then the one that you have, Barb, with the drawers, what an easy way to get organized, but still using that area.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And this is my favorite scan and cut project.
Attitude adjustment chamber.
So my friend put this on here.
I like that.
So that's it from here.
Oh my gosh, that was a lot. Everybody's saying, oh my goodness.
It took 35 years to get here though.
35 years? Okay.
35 years, raising 4 kids, paying for college, you know. Didn't happen overnight.
Oh my gosh, that's an amazing room. So far, I'm watching people's comments. I think everybody's going to be, first off, we're going to start with what Jerry said and take everything out, although I can't do that. I only have like one big room, but I can move it to one side and start over. Oh my gosh. And I need to go get some more labels for my label maker. That's on the list for today. Everybody's saying awesome space. So I hope you guys are enjoying this. We're not finished yet, by the way. Everybody's saying basements are awesome. Yes, I agree. This was amazing. Oh my gosh, Kim. And I like the way that how you showed the first space and then you can actually walk through and go to the other space. All right.
Very cool.
I'm looking down. It's your turn, Louis.
And I'm looking up and I see you. So I'm back. I have juice now, guys. Thank you so much for putting up with that. Well, again, when you don't have the wall space or I'm from New York, guys. Kim's basement is a 6-bedroom apartment. There will be 20 people living in there. Oh my God, are you kidding me? I'm like looking at this space and thinking, how much money I could make if I had that space. I'm like, I got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a 5-bedroom, 4-bath condo. And I'm jealous. Well, you know, being in New York and being with a tiny space, which most New Yorkers live. So all that Sex and the City crap you see on TV, don't believe it. Okay. That's how the other side lives. Mind you, I have friends that have that kind of money and that kind of space. One of my friends, her closets have chandeliers in them. So yes, I know people like that, but I don't have that, and most New Yorkers don't. So you do have to utilize every single space and inch of space, and it's very crucial that you're organized. Um, I could call someone and tell them I need a straight pin from this pin cushion with the yellow head on it. It is the fourth pin over from the blah, blah, blah. And they would be able to go directly where I told them and find it. So you have to be very organized in New York if you want to find anything or get anything accomplished. So I brought that down here when I got this place in Atlanta. So I'm between the two cities. And again, without having the luxury of wall space and having tiny space in New York, my thread storage idea, which you see behind me, are these lovely containers. So I keep all of my threads by color, and they're on the shelf here in these different containers. I can get to them very easily. The lid pops up, or if I got to get to one on the bottom, I take them and dump them onto my cutting table and get the color I want. Pop it back in its space. My metallic thread, and they're all organized by color. And this goes 3 deep. So there are 3 of these behind here. So behind this one, there's another layer, and behind that layer, there's another layer. And so, it's very easy to get to. You most of the time you're not, working with 20 different, colors, that you need right that second. So while one color's embroidering, I just come over and pull out my next color. But it helped me, especially again, without having wall space, to be able to put thread racks and things on. This was just a great tool. These storage bins you can get, like I said, any of your home good type places that sell home decorating and container storage places, and really help you to keep your threads nice, neat, and organized and clear. You can see the colors and keep them all set. They come in different sizes. So I have my serger threads behind those and keep all of that there. Working with all those threads and working with what I do with the crystals and all of that stuff, I have to also have my crystals very organized. So my organization tool for crystals are the next shelf. So when we pull a bin out, these are filled with crystal containers, and they screw. So I'll pull one out. And these are all...
Hey, Louis, those buttons above you, or not buttons, that thread above you, that'd be great for buttons too. From this angle, before you said that, I thought they were bolts of fabric.
I just love looking at them. I could see them all, and I like them being all mixed in together. And I just feel like this should be our world. It's just like all of us all just mixed in together, all of the beautiful colors, and everybody's just getting along. And it's just wonderful. But I do the same thing with my crystals. So each bin has a color in it. So this is the blues, the greens. Every bin has its own color. But these little stackable containers, and you could get these again at your craft stores. And again, my P-Touch labeler. I don't know if you guys can see that these are labeled. And I did the clear labeling on them. But this is all the same color. It's different sizes in every color. So when you want to get to one, you take the top and you unscrew it and take it off. And there are I'm going to turn the camera. There are the crystals inside of your little container. And so when you get done, you just take them, screw it back tight, and then all of your labels line up and it goes right back in its space. And I have one for each section. Now, when I ran out of those, and these I couldn't find for a while, I just went to my local inexpensive, like dollar store, and got these little containers. And then these, I just use my marker on them. I think my labeler was packed up, but these again are filled with different crystals, and I write the size on them. And so I know the color and the size. And then those just give me more storage space when I'm out. And now when you have a ton of one color or a ton of crystals, you're going to use an even bigger container. And again, the dollar store is your friend. So these guys, of course, measuring things. This is full of crystals, and it has a little pop. So you can open it up to pour your crystals out into your tray and use them when you want to put them on your template. And so
That is a great idea. By the way, the dollar store is no affiliation of Brother, just FYI, but that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, I didn't mean any particular dollar store, just dollar store. So, there are different ones. So pick your favorite. Yeah, but it's like great idea for storage and get to be able to organize things and to keep things, excuse me, nice and neat. Now, another idea that I got, and you can see behind me, this I found online. I saw it. It was a great tool. This is your Lazy Susan for your rolls of rolls of vinyl. And so these are all rolls of vinyl. My brother, different glitter vinyls in the rolls. And there are 3 tiers. So everything stores right into, and it just twists around to get to the color you want. And it keeps them all nice and neat and organized again, because I have more table space and counter space than I actually have wall space. So for me, that was a great way to be able to utilize that. And then also these guys right here, I think these are the coolest things. These little racks, I have these under my sewing table, and the drawers pull out. And when the drawers pull out, these are all my trims. So I have 6 of these racks, and I can wheel them out from under the table. And then each Ziploc has a different trim in it. And so I keep them all organized by color, by type. And so they just store all of the different trims. And I keep them all in the little drawers and keep them nice and neat and organized so that I can get to them easily. And so I have a very dear friend who was a queen of organization. She is taught me about detail and about how to be organized beyond belief. And she just was such a guru. And so, she had a building. So she had a gigantic studio. But one of the things she did, everything was on wheels. Everything had to be movable. And so that's kind of my process also, is that everything has to be able to be moved easily in case I want to switch stuff around or I need to get to something. But I put everything on casters because I need to be able to move things quick and fast and easy. And then again, lacking the wall space for hanging things like that. I don't know if you guys can see right here, and I'll show you over here. This is how I do my hoops. And so my hoops are stored, and I'll grab one, on these little, again, dollar stores are your friends. These are just hooks, and these hooks store all my different hoops. So all my hoops, and it hooks right onto my shelving unit. And so I have all of my hoops onto the different ones, and I have more hoops over here on this side, and I keep all of the hoops on those little hooks to store everything right there and convenient. Now, of course, then this is up here on the top. I keep all of my fabrics, and these are all projects, so they're all in Ziploc. So every project, if I'm not working on it, it goes in a Ziploc. I put it in a bag so that I could just grab the bag. It has the thread, the needles, the trim. It has every single thing that goes with that project in the Ziploc that makes it easy to grab and easy to get to and makes it easy to work. And, I'll show you. Behind, of course, all of my lovely stuff is some fabrics. And so these are, I keep my fabrics folded and keep them nice there. That's just one section. And I have probably 4 more sections that are like that I won't show you because it's a mess going that direction. But I do keep them on. So I like to keep things like very like Jerry. It's like I can't do clutter. I do get people whose creativity is inspired by things all around and everything. But for me, it has to be neat and organized. And again, that's coming from being in New York for so long that in a small space, you've got to be organized and keep everything neat and clean so you can then think. I can't think with clutter and keep it organized the way I want to. And so those are kind of like my favorite little tips on how to maybe organize if you don't have the wall space or you don't have places to hang and you do have shelving or bookcases or stuff, how to even keep it organized. So even like in Barb's place where she had the closets and had the shelves in there, these will be great inside of a closet to be able to pull them out and be able to get to things quickly and easily and have everything accessible.
I love that. Hey, Lisa wants to know, and I'm curious about this too. How do you get those rolls of vinyl on that Lazy Susan without them falling off? You have nails in there or something?
Well, no. This is a specifically designed for these vinyls. So there is a fat peg. There's a fat peg. Now, unfortunately, rolls of stabilizer won't fit on there. I tried it. The stabilizer tubing, the cardboard that's in the stabilizer, it's too big. So those fall. But these are made, this Lazy Susan is specifically made for your rolls of vinyl. And so they don't fall.
That.
And I mean, it's so convenient and so easy. And, you know, again, when you have, if you have space for a, you know, top table surface or cabinetry or something, you could put that on versus putting it on a wall or putting it on a door, which I don't have the space for. This was perfect for me. Now I do have a flat, a vinyl flat also that keeps your vinyls nice and flat. Let me see if I can grab it real quick.
While he's grabbing that, just a quick idea, since you guys were talking about making things like with the insulation and stuff, you could totally take some styrofoam and glue those at the bottom and make it the width of whatever you need to put on there. If it's embroidery stabilized or anything like that. I like having them all standing up. That's kind of cool.
Is for your flat vinyls.
Oh.
So this stores all your flats and keeps them nice and organized. Can you guys hear me? I don't even know anymore because I don't have my
oh yeah, we can hear you. And you know what? That's a great idea because I use that for all my
this thing
like
was
for my bookkeeping
terrific.
and stuff. That's a good idea for that.
This was terrific. And so these are clear acrylic and they snap into each other. And again, these are specifically made for flat vinyl sheets that are the 12 by 12s that go onto your scan and cut mats. It's specifically made for these vinyls. So I keep them all organized by color, by type, and keep the flats all together so that it gives me additional storage for those.
I love that. Hey, could you just, while you're up, can you just give one more close up of how you hung those clips on your shelf?
Oh, sure. So this one is probably easier to get to. So these shelves are vented. So I don't know if you guys can see under there. So this has like vents in it. It's not a solid shelf. So they're little slats. So this hook, which again, just a dollar store thing I found, fits perfectly over it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So there's my little brother Bleg that I keep to grab stuff when I'm going out the door. And it just goes into your over the top and fits perfectly right over the space. It's the perfect size. It fit perfectly. I didn't have to bend it. I didn't have to change it. It just fits perfect over that space. And they come with, you know, like this one has 2 on it, and then the other one has the 2 going out left and right. So it makes, you can get different ones depending on your configuration to be able to pull them in and out. So this one is the one with the left and right ones versus the stackable ones, but they just fit right over that shelf, that space, and it just pops right down on top of it. So it just locks into place.
Excellent. I just saw a comment come up. Hey, Diane, that's what I use is a wine bottle, like those wine bottle racks. That's what I put a lot of my stabilizer in. It's a great way to do that too. I mean, because I get a lot of those for gifts, and that might just be a handful of them, but I have like a tall rack and I stick mine in those. So that's definitely a
see,
good
I didn't
idea.
have space for that. But that's if you got space for that, that's wonderful. There's also, ones that go on the back of your door that you can use that I've seen that hold them horizontally. Those are great for stabilizer as well. You can get them and it hangs over like over the door hooks, but it's made for vinyls. So it has the little U shape, and you just lay your roll down and that fits on the back of your door. But my door already has stuff on the back of it, so I couldn't use that either.
I think we have really gotten a lot of good ideas, and Jennifer has more ideas, but I'm watching all the comments. Everyone's like, this is amazing. So much fun. I'm actually getting so many great ideas here as well. And it's good timing because the first of the year is always when we want to like declutter. I just have to ask you guys while we're talking about this. So, hey, Louis, I know you said that you don't like clutter, and Jerry, you said you don't like clutter. So my question is, I don't like clutter either, but once I start sewing a project, like don't bother me, don't come near me. I sew like a crazy woman, embroider, and then like 3 days later, my place looks like, I don't know, somebody came in and had a lot of fun in here. Clean up and start over. So Jennifer, how about you? Do you do that too or no?
I am easily distracted by new projects, so you don't want to see my entire sewing space.
You got the squirrel pandemic?
I am, especially this last year. It's like, I saw a great thing online, and it said, do you want to go buy fabric? And then at the bottom it said, and buy a bunch of patterns we won't sew, because that's me. You're in the middle of something and you're like, oh, but that. So yeah,
definitely.
my room is always a work in progress.
So question, if I could ask.
Go ahead, Louis.
So this is the psychology behind organizing the left brain, right brain with the creative side and the logic side of your brains. That also translate into how you cook, how you garden, how whatever. So I'm the same way when I cook. I have to clean as I go. I cannot cook and then clean the kitchen after. It has to be cleaned as I go. So when I'm sewing, working on a project, while the machine is going and embroidering, I'm putting stuff away, cleaning up, and I can't have out 20 threads. I have to have the thread I'm using then. I don't need all those other ones out. I'll get it when I need it. I have the pair of scissors out that I need. I don't have out 50 pairs of scissors. I have to clean as I go.
Well, then someone really needs to study my brain, because I'm that way in the kitchen, but in the sewing room, I just let it all flow.
I think I found the problem. I don't do much in the kitchen, so I know where the refrigerator is. That's about it.
I can show you my kitchen. Everybody's like, I have these little magnetic spice things that are on the side of my refrigerator because, again, New York, you don't have cabinets, you don't have enough space. So my spices are stored with my label maker on these clear containers that go all the way down the sides of my refrigerator.
That's a good idea.
It's very clever, and you could use those in your sewing room as well for doing pins and all this kind of stuff. The magnet's on the bottom side of it, so it sticks on the outside, so it doesn't really hold the pins or anything inside of the container. But bobbins, all that kind of stuff, if you have some place that you've got stainless on, it is terrific, and they just stick, and you could keep them all nice and neat and organized. But that's how I'm in the kitchen, and the labels always have to face out, and this has to go in this, and everything has to go back where it was. And it has to go back then. You don't put it back later. You put it back then.
So I have a feeling that we're all going to be here next week doing kitchen organizing. Then we'll go to the bathroom and the bedroom. Because these are a lot of great tips. All right, so Jennifer, when I first joined you live, I thought your background was fake. It's not fake, is it?
It's not fake. No. Actually, about just over a year ago, I did exactly what Jerry has recommended, and my creative space gotten so cluttered that I literally was just stumped at what to create and craft. And so I pulled everything out of this room and sorted through it. My husband and I took measurements, went to the local hardware store, you know, the organization stores, the home stores, and came in here and we pulled stuff out of the closet, which I won't show you that side of the room. I actually got a new machine 2 days ago. And so everything from this side of the room has been moved to this side of the room to put in the new machine. So I'm not ready to show that side of the room, but we put up these shelves in the back. And so all of my fabric, I had boxes and boxes of fabric. I am a quilter, and I don't call myself a fabric hoarder. I'm a fabric curator. So this is my museum of fabric.
I like that.
Yeah. So I sorted all the fabric. A lot of my girlfriends were benefited with coming over, and because it was before the pandemic, so they came over and I said, just shop from my boxes, take what you want. Honestly, don't even ask me. Just pick what you want and take it out of the house, because I was to the point where I didn't know what I had. So when they were all finished, I sat for many a nights with the music on or the TV in the background, and I folded all of the fabric and sorted it by the color. So yes, this is my real fabric wall. It does not go all the way to the ceiling because my room, I think, is even a little smaller than Jerry's. I live in a 1920s house. My walls, the 4 walls in the room aren't even all the same height. So that was one of the things that we had to take into account when we purchased shelving units. So I sorted them by color and I folded them so that they all would stack, you know, perfectly. So I'd get 2 stacks in each shelf. And that was one of the things I was going to show, was how I folded all of that. So if you'd like to see that, I know that Barb said she was looking at, was it Barb or was it Kim? You had your fabric that you were going to start organizing. So I really like the way it's all folded. It's easy to access, and I can take it and I can unfold it, cut what I need, and then put it back on the shelf. So
we'd love to see that. And Barb,
Okay.
I think Barb had something to say, but Barb, you have to unmute yourself. I think you accidentally muted or something.
Yeah.
But definitely, we want to watch you do this. I want to see how you fold. This is going to be fantastic.
Okay.
So real quick, I'm just going to answer a couple questions while you get ready with your camera or whatever. Sharon, I organize by color because I don't always use a given kind of fabric. I find it more creative when I go through my color and I find, oh, here's a piece of suede or whatever. And I think, oh yeah, I'll use that. So I just do by color, not by kind of fabric. Jen, the toolboxes were on sale. They were not expensive when I got them, one at a time. They were Christmas presents and birthday presents. Now there's ways to do it. Marion, the thread racks are from Brother. You asked where they came from. C. Lombard, stabilizers are in 3 of those drawers. I have 3 drawers full of stabilizer that I can just pull right out. The drawers also store thread standing up. So if you need to do thread rather than on a wall, you can do it in a drawer. Sandy, they came from big box stores, and my space is not that big. It looks big. It's just 6.5 feet wide, but it's long. So those are some of the questions.
Awesome. That's what we're here for. And everyone says, are you really live? Yeah, we're really live. All right. So let me see.
Right. So again, my room is small, so I just switched to my camera. I do this for any fabric that I've got a half a yard or more. It's folded. The fabric is folded just as when you purchase it, you know, salvage to salvage. And I'm doing this on a little table because I had to get it on camera. And I take my 6x12 ruler and I put it on the fabric, fold it. And I can't take credit for this. Another person showed me how to do this. And so it's just worked really well for me. But I fold partial fabric up, and my table is, I pull towards me and then I fold it. And I just wrap the fabric around my ruler till I get to the end. And sometimes you can push so that I can roll the fabric. I turn it over, and then I pull the ruler out. My fabric is exactly the width that I want. And then I just fold it in half, and it's ready to stack on my shelf.
Oh my.
Fast and simple.
That's very cool. That's really cool. I love that. Everybody is going to be like, oh, okay, that's the coolest thing ever. Everything will be the same size. Oh my
Everything's
God.
the same size, and I can do it by color. I've got all my white on whites together, my blacks, my grays. Well, you can see my rainbow. So now when I'm doing a project and I need, the perfect yellow or something, I can go straight to my shelf and grab what I need. And again, if I use some, I can unfold it, cut my strip or whatever off of it, and then just fold it back up.
That's a great idea. No, you're not looking at that part of my studio, so forget it.
So that's my fabric if I have a half a yard or more. If I have less than that, my fat quarters, I have 2 smaller shelves that are about half the size of each of these. They're on the other side of the room, and I've got all my fat quarters folded by color as well. And then if they're even smaller than that, from my local organization store, home store, any place that sells containers, there you can always find lots of little containers. I have shelves on the other side of the room, and I folded the smaller. These are all my polka dot fabrics. I am in love with polka dots. So, I've got my polka dots. I've got one of these for batiks. I have one for my mini charm packs. Again, I'm a quilter. Fabric is my obsession. So lots of ways to store my fabric so that I can see it right away.
Hey, Jennifer, when you're folding those smaller pieces, do you just use a smaller ruler or any tips for that?
I actually use the same ruler, the same 6x12, just because I usually have it handy, and they fold just smaller. I think I fold it twice. So,
wow.
Instead of just like this, I fold it once more because it's a smaller fat quarter.
Nice.
So then it sits on the shelf. And then my other storage, again, I don't know how many of us have said, but our P-Touch label maker, this lives on my desk. I use it for I'm obsessed with labeling things. I'm surprised that my shelves actually aren't labeled by color. But I guess I won't go that far. But again, I've got different little boxes, and inside are my notions and like machine needles. I do a lot of bags, and so I have all my zippers. The boxes labeled 10 inches, 5 and 6 inches, 12 inches. I've got bigger ones for buttons. So the label maker, it really makes it easy because I can then put it all on the shelf and go to exactly what I need to do exactly what I need for my project.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. So I've had like 6 people. Would it be too much trouble, because then our show's almost finished anyways, but would it be too much trouble to show that one more time?
The fabric?
Yeah.
Of course, I can do
folding. How you folded it?
Yes.
I see. And then the rest of you that pop in later, you're just going to have to click rewind when we're finished. But everybody's like, wait, do that again. It's like replay.
Okay, hold on.
Okay. So, Jerry, how do you fold your fabric? Same way or different?
Yeah, pretty much the same way. I've got a 6x24. I love the thing that I got from Jen's.
I'm sorry, it is a 6x24.
The rolling part of it. Because you always have those extra fabric tails that always seem to pop out after you fold it. And I'm like, oh, duh, rolling it like that would get rid of those tails.
Yeah.
Switch my camera again.
Okay. I haven't Louis, do you fold your fabric like that?
Hear me?
You fold your fabric like that?
No.
Barb and Kim, your fabric is so super neat. Okay, everyone, they wanted to watch. Here it is again. It's like the magic video.
Yeah. So again, the fabric is just folded the way you bring it home, you know, salvage to salvage. And I am doing this on a smaller table. Usually I'm sitting on the floor doing this with my cats helping me. So I just take my 6x24 ruler. Thank you, Jerry, for correcting me. And fold part of it over, and I pull it towards me. And I just flip my whole ruler and then kind of push it so it's a little taut. And then I just pull and roll until I get to the end. And again, here's the little piece of fabric that's not quite enough to fold over, but you can actually, because it's fabric and it moves, you can just push your ruler.
That's the part that's super
cover that.
Love that.
And then I flip it. I remove my ruler and I just fold the fabric in half.
Oh gosh, that's fantastic. It's like take two, we got it. Margie wants to know the label maker that we've been using. Yes, of course it's from Brother.
It is.
And they have many different kinds too. They even have one that the creative one that you can do ribbon with now, which is great to add like a little ribbon to maybe something that you made, a quilt. Oh, that's what's, there's Jerry's. Everybody's saying this is awesome. All right, so this was, I think, okay, so I already shared things the other day, and I'll be sharing things the rest of the month too, so I'm not really, not my turn. But I will say with the label maker, and I won't bring this too close, but I buy these boxes at the craft supply stores, and you all know that I love to make jeans. So I'm just gonna bring that label maker down. Okay, so I actually have, here you go, I'll make it bigger, let's see. Just so you can see this. Here you go. These have little boxes in them. And again, I use my label maker. Of course, I like pink on everything. So these little boxes hold my rivets and then they're all labeled. So I have the rivets in there. They're all safe. I could also put, if I'm making a certain kind of jeans or maybe a certain style, I will include the coordinating zipper that goes in there along with the coordinating jean button. So for example, right now I'm working on a few pairs of distressed jeans and they're all going to be antique brass. So I can include all the zippers, all the rivets, the jean buttons all in one little box. So when I need that, I just carry the box over. So that is my very quick, easy organizing thing. But you know, it keeps things in one pile and then it all ends up in a mess. But at least I have it all, because you know, those rivets, you hit one and then boom, they're kind of like your Louis, they're kind of like your sparklies.
Yes, exactly. They go everywhere. But you showed that little box, and that's so clever. And again, this is just from little, you know, again, my favorite dollar store, not a particular one, just a dollar store. That's the lid. I pulled it off. But this is how I organize like all my needles. So here I have all the different needles, and each compartment holds a different type of needle. So then I can just grab the bin, pull my needle out that I want, and it just keeps all of your needles nice and neat and organized by type, by size, and everything. So I have like 3 or 4 different ones of these, depending on, you know, the type of needle, the size of needle, and it keeps all of them nice and neat. And then you just pull the bin out and you have your needles. Yeah. So that's another use for those little bins. I love those.
Those bins are so nice. I use them as well. I have all of my snaps.
Oh, let me see this. All your snaps. That's a good idea. That's the bin I've used for all of my, I never thought of that for snaps. I have those in bags. Yeah, so all my beads are in that.
Yeah.
I love that idea. Somebody just asked what jeans pattern I'm using. I'm using my pattern, of course. Of course.
I could throw something in really quick.
Go ahead, Jerry.
We all have needles and we have the used needles and we don't know what to do with them. And it's really dangerous to throw them in your garbage. So like an organizational thing that I do, I have an old pill bottle and I drilled a hole in the top of it.
Oh God.
And I labeled it as used needles. And then when I have a used needle, I just drop it in there, and then I can throw this whole thing away. And I've got years of needles in there that are old. And I didn't want to throw them in the garbage. So now I just throw the whole pill bottle away.
That's a great idea.
Smart.
Very smart. And okay, so before we go, does anybody have any tips for how you get rid of your rotary cutter blades? Because that's always one that you never, ever, ever would want to throw into the trash by yourself. I know myself, I keep the plastic containers that they're in, and then I have it labeled, whatever, broken, don't use. And then I put those in that, and then I seal the plastic, tape it, and then throw it away. So nobody would ever. Anybody else have any tips for that?
I have a little plastic jar, and I'm covering the name of what it's from, but I have all my needles and my used rotary blades in this. It's got a little cap, and then once this is full, it just goes in the, like Jerry's pill bottle, just goes in the garbage.
That's a great idea.
The same thing with these containers. That's what I put these little disposable things. They're so inexpensive. It's like really cheap. It's a dollar store. So they fit the rotary blades even up to the 60 millimeters, and you just stack them all in there and throw them, the needle, everything in there, and then the whole thing goes in your cycle.
Definitely. Everyone's giving their tips too. I'm gonna have to go back and read all these comments because some people are saying they use their pill boxes as well, or tins. Such great ideas. Well, I hope everyone has enjoyed today's show. This was so much fun. Great seeing you all.
Everybody is organized. Get organized. Start the new year out right. Yeah.
Oh gosh. So everyone, thank you for joining us, all the brand ambassador and educators. This was a lot of fun tips. So for January, we are organizing, but for those that missed the show this week earlier, you will find us every Tuesday and Thursday on the Brother Sews page at noon. So I can't guarantee there'll be all of us together, right? But maybe.
If you have
this is way too much fun. Oh, Jerry, if you're giving back massages, I'm switching places. All right. So everybody, thank you for watching us. Brother Sews, thank you for letting us take over your page again. And you know what? While we're all stuck at home, this is a lot of fun. So bye, everyone. Have a great day.